But just for jokes, Kapepe was after the vice president of those who have lived long enough for read quite a bit back, or been part of certain struggles. Kapepe was after Simon Kapepe, who was the vice president in Zambia, and Julius was after Julius Nyerere, who was a president in a certain republic in the East Africa. So that's why the chair of the session says Kambarage, that's where he's coming from. And thank you, Chair. The main point is to go to the main point, not so. The other details can follow. In the unlikely event that are not finished, which I envisage, my telephone number, and only one, just as Migueleko said in the morning, is 077 499 455 0772 499 455. No, I've already come enough, I can't come again. Yes. So I'll proceed. I'll later on write it here. Certainly the story of PBM is a long one, and what I did was what we did in our preparation was to really have a bit of what you could call a longer paper, which I'm not going to go through because your bull roasting is waiting somewhere. But the intention was that once you get the notes, then you can go with that in your rucksack back home. When it is time for a certain seminar or time for a certain television show or radio show, and you'd wish to take on 1, 2, 3 things, then you have an opportunity. In other words, I'm not going to go through the paper verbatim, this presentation verbatim, as we had done it. Greetings from our national coordinator, Honorable Denis Garabuzi. He was not able to be here because he's in Unyoro area with the president, with His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Omugati. In terms of the approach, the perspective, again, we are borrowing from page 42 of the manifesto. From page 42, going on further ahead. So I don't want to stand here and begin reading and I will never finish. But the parish development model in securing your future and my future is part of what was clearly articulated here in the manifesto and promised to the people of Uganda. So it is a commitment you and I must deliver on, because His Excellency the President says, here or heaven, PBM must do what? Must succeed. There is no purgatory. There is no half the other. It is a full success all the way. The other bit we are using is, but this is my copy, the 23 strategic directives and policy guidelines by His Excellency the President to the people of Uganda through those he had chosen to work with, that is cabinet, in 2016 and in 2021, because one builds into the other. So those are the key areas when we are looking at how are we performing. That's where we are coming from. And we noticed that before then there was no PBM. So our baseline starts at 0. So if that is the case, we'll just quickly flip through and see how far we've gone. And we can deal with some of the areas maybe at question and answer time. Particularly looking at the performance of key areas, really, not exhaustive, but key areas. And then some of the challenges. Some of us are not usually bogged down by challenges, so we tend to minimize them perhaps, which maybe is not a good thing. But also there is an aspect of then what is the role of you, the people in the office of the RDC. The office of the RDC as an institution, not necessarily as Adam, not necessarily as, okay? beginning with the obvious things, that PDM is the whole of government, not partial, but the whole of government, and is a multi-sector. You are not going to find it only here, but you also find it across different frontiers. And the other aspect there is that it is a strategy or an approach. It is not a program. So we can excuse anyone else, but not people in your shoes. When you stand up in a meeting and you begin to tell us how PDM program is performing in your place. Because it is not a program. It is a move towards reorientation of doing certain things to be able to deliver services to Uganda. Literally picking government from up there where it is in Kampala here and many of those places and bringing it down to the parish. Including any other aspects that you can think about of government. That's our vision, that every particular service must be accessed by a Uganda at the level of the parish. Because it's the lowest administrative unit. If there was anything lower, perhaps we would have had to go even further down. So that's where we are coming from. But the whole purpose, as Willis went through earlier in the earlier session, the whole purpose is that we can improve the socio-economic being, the quality of life or lives of Ugandans. That's the whole intention. It is not fashion that it is time for making a manifesto, so the president made a manifesto. No. Arising from his historical mission, as many of you know by this time, that's really where we are coming from and building on stepwise, to be able to get to the promised land. The promised land was said to be where? Where is the promised land for some of you who read the Bible? It is where? In KYANKWANZI. We hear that it is in Canaan. Yes. So as we build to getting there, that is the whole intention. So the others are operational details. The other bit I wish to bring out is for people of your caliber, is that I've already said we are building from the previous interventions under the leadership of His Excellency President Museveni. But the other bit is that PDM, or Parish Development Model, is part of Vision 2040. It is not just for its standard yesterday. Otherwise, why am I talking about 2016 and even previous years, 10-point program and many others? So it builds on into the country's Vision 2040, which is broken down usually in the National Development Plan. And then we come to the annual work plans and all that. It is part of that journey. In the initial phase of that struggle, however, is where we are dealing with people that are subsisting, so that they can also be part of the rest of the Ugandans who are getting something into their pockets, who are taking their children to school without hustling and those types of things. And that percent in Uganda was said to be 39%. 61% of the households were okay, but the other 39 were still struggling at our base when we started. And that translates into 3.5 million households, or over 16 million Ugandans if you want to count 1, 2, 3. That's where we are coming from. The emphasis, production. Do business with profitability in mind. Don't just do, but do with the chibaro so that you can be able to get something out of your efforts that can be worthwhile in terms of income. And not just yourself alone, but the entire household. Because the planning until yesterday, you remember the higher local government, for instance, and the lower local governments. The lower local governments were what? Or are what? Lower local government is what? The Gomborora. Lower local government, but which has decision-making powers and many of these things, was at Gomborora, or the sub-counties. We are making efforts to getting even further down, inshallah. The specific objectives for some of you, food security at the household. That's when we shall realize we are succeeding. What is creation? Yesterday I didn't have this, today I have it. I am better off, I feel I'm better off than I was yesterday. Job creation, that goes without mention. And then improved service delivery at the parish or the ward. The ward in the case of urban centers, including KCCA, as you said earlier on. Therefore, all that big outfit is for programming purposes and for managing is then divided into, or was put together into what we call pillars, what we call its components, so that we are able to bite this big elephant and we are able to, otherwise the elephant will wrestle you down. So the 7 pillars or the 7 components as approved, signed off by His Excellency the President are what we have. So many of you, or many of us, and out there in the communities which you serve, you'll find that if this pillar number 3, because I'm not going to go through all of them, I'll just make an overview. In pillar number 3, which is financial inclusion, of course it has the word finance. So maybe usually it is the most enticing. But you remember the 100 million shillings? The 100 million shillings, you remember? Which comes the circles. It is one of the 6 components we expect to deliver under financial inclusion pillar. The parish revolving fund here. So when you are talking as a leader, please let Bana Uganda know that the PDM is not just the 100 million shillings. Even if we just picked out that one pillar alone, it has 6 sub-elements. The 100 million shillings being one of the 6 elements. So what happens to all the others? So give them that broader perspective, give them hope, give them real practical things, as we shall see later on, that things are happening, but we have to start somewhere and keep delivering so that we are able, at the end of the day, to get to where we want to go. But you also notice that in pillar number 1 and pillar number 3, the colors are a bit distinct. It was put for a purpose. Those are the main, in the army it would be called the level of effort. Where do you put the level of effort? There is this resource, again so many, but the level of effort, the Muganda in Butambala, we call it the Sira, or the Tekawa. Where do you put your most energy? It was also to deal with delivering this, the finances, to be able to enable us have improved production and productivity for incomes in the country. Our target being what? The 3.5 million households that we don't lose locus of that. But for that to happen, for instance, in pillar number 3, we need to have the numbers. How many people are we planning for? The data. How many people are we planning for? Is this coming back to life? I need some help from the other side. So the 6 components, the 7 pillars, we used an analogy of the house, an illustration, just a mental impression of what PDM is about. But we could have used anything else. So it is not necessarily that it is the house, but the point was that if you have a house of this nature and you have pillars, that's when you are able to have this house stand. If any of them is missing, yes, you might have the house, but it could be a house which is limping, because something else is missing. So that's where the pillars bit was coming from, and all of them are supposed to be mutually working together. In pillar number 2, which is financial, which is infrastructure and economic services. An example I'll give is, yes, you have received the money, you have been able to produce, thank you very much. How will your things go to the market? If there is no bridge that has been fixed, if there is no road that is properly worked on. So that became a crucial component also to be able to deliver this. But also, as this comes back on, but also in pillar number 3, even that financial inclusion, pillar number 4, which is the social services. Yes, you've made all the money, but the schools in your area, government schools, for instance, are performing so poorly. There is no infrastructure. There are no teachers, and all these things that you need to have children go through. And earlier on, Honorable Migoriko talked about the education. You remember earlier in the morning? So you'll find that you have earned the money, but you have to go to Kakumiro further away from your area to look for a good school. So you'll literally lose money because there was no good school in your area. So it seems, if you're talking about parish development, the functionality of the schools, of health centers, the water points, and has come into the bracket. Otherwise, here you are getting money, but people are falling sick and are losing out the money because they are paying bills to be able to treat themselves. In number 5, community mobilization and mindset change. As you hear the word, that's what it is. Mobilize, let people receive the gospel according to PDM, let them do as it says. Pillar number 7 is governance and administration. The infrastructure to be able to have the delivery of these things. So, on pillar number 1, our target is 3.5 million households. Are we together? Yes. Or there are some busy attacking some people? I hope not. So against 3.5 million households, which is our target, so far as we speak, we have reached over 2 million Ugandans. So that means we have about less than 1.5 million households to be able to deliver on that mark, which is the target. And we think that that is quite steady progress because of your efforts, yourselves and many other people across government, but also the communities that we work with. And our target again, as the President had directed, was to do with 7 major priority enterprises. And here also deal with a question that could come up in some of the local governments. There was subsequent guidance that please, of the 7, what are those major 3 that you think you could be able to focus on as the local government? Why? Because how will somebody send a whole truck to come and pick some 3-4 tomatoes? So when you focus, then you begin to have economies you begin to have quantities. When you have quantities, then we can say, oh, Mr. Mkwano, please, in Zombo, our people have a lot of ground nuts. Are you able to have an oil processing facility here as a private person? Then the person can come there, bring the factory, bring the money, because he or she knows that when I take my factory there will be the supplies. So that's where we are moving. Yes, the 7, but try to focus on the major 3 in your area as priority areas so that you can be able to have quantities. Now, this is what I highlighted earlier on. If there are over 2 million people, where are they located? This is across the country. Of course, this also means, speaking to you, that when you go back home, you need to establish, which I can do it, but I'm not able to do it for every particular district that is here. How is the state of affairs in our own country, in our own district, in our own sub-county? How many people are engaged into what? Is an area, is a homework that you need to do yourself. But at the national level, this is the picture that we see. In crops, which is taking lead, in livestock, which is taking lead, in piggery, and then poultry, coffee in that kind of category. The other bit is in terms of performance for Pillar 1, agricultural value chain development. After the census, by the way, 2024, the census has said since we started 2021 that figure is even no longer 39%. It has now come down to 34%. Do you think there are some good cases in your communities where people have really used some of this support to help themselves? Have you seen anyone? If you ask each district, someone would testify. Yes. It is precisely because of that reason that when the Bureau of Statistics did the census in 2024, they found that actually it is no longer 39, it is 34. So are we progressing, you think? Are we going in the right direction, or we are retrogressing in the other direction? Right direction. So please explain that to the people, to the Bana Uganda. They want to listen. Some people will never believe until we say that please go to Uganda and look at so and so. Please go to Omoro, look at so and so, look at so and so. And then they can know that the gospel of NRM is the correct one and is truthful because there is evidence. Someone other will say, but where is 34 coming from? You have just started. Things are real, are happening on ground. These are things not manufactured from Kampala, but they are coming from your communities. Of course, there are those who have taken PDM for parish drinking money. There is also that category of people. Okay? We had asked the president to do something, but he said, you leave them and preach to them. And now he's moving around precisely doing that. We had wanted it to be more lethal. You remember when we had started and some money was getting lost? What happened to some people? You remember? Yes, we had wanted to use that type of zeal or approach to be more diplomatic. But then he said, I handled them myself. So those who have taken that, I am not sure myself about how we deal with them until we get additional guidance. The other bit is that food production is actually taking lead. So somebody yesterday who was starving, a household which was starving yesterday, today has what to eat. Is that a degree of success or it is not? And in the security some of us have studied, it says that food security is the first line of defense, is the first line of security for any society. That's what we had. So it seems we are getting somewhere, even though there are other challenges like where people are investing outside the 7 guided commodities in Mayuge. Anyone who comes from Mayuge here, there should be Mayuge from, yes. Mayuge, you have a lot of people who have taken, for instance, the PDM funds into cocoa. But cocoa was outside the 7. So until we get further guidance in some of the cases, we will see what happens. But if somebody thinks can make money and is actually improving the livelihood, should we penalize them or not? I don't know. But it is an issue I think the other people at the other level will be able to guide us about. But there are those cases which are happening. The other bit is people from Buganda. Where are the people from Buganda? The people from... By responsibility, I don't mean by where you come from, but by responsibility. I am deputy RDC in Tambaland and many other places. You are taking lead in utilizing the money that has been, that so far has gone out. The question will be, thank you for taking lead in receiving the money. Is it being utilized properly? So the institution of the RDC becomes very, very instrumental in the follow-up. You don't have to do the follow-up yourself, but you can cause that to happen, and you know what is happening within your jurisdiction. Where is the list of the recipients of the parish revolving fund? What are they engaged in? And we've done that bit of work also with ISO through Zaidi and a number of things that you know about, which I don't want to go into now. Kampala, you are still a bit stubborn. Kampala, where are you? Kampala, you are still a bit stubborn. We shall need our own conversation. Of course, the urban centers generally, the city, including Moroto City, including Arua City, the cities you seem to have, we still seem to have some challenges. Initially, that is what Museveni has always said. That's what Museveni has always said. Then they saw the thing coming. And some of them then tried to do shortcuts. And we got a lot of problems with urban centers. But we are cleaning up, and we believe with their effort and new doors, we'll be able to clean up even further. So, yes? Yeah. Are you able to come close and have the microphone much as I want to run through quickly? Okay. We'll deal with that. Yeah. I'll deal with that. Kindly write it down. We are going to deal with that. Okay. Thank you. We'll deal with that. So quickly, also in terms of success, we've had the presidential tours around the country. And there are so many lessons we are taking, including some of the people who received, for instance, 1 million shillings for coffee. This person divides the money, puts some money for coffee, puts the 1 million shillings, part of it for poultry, another one for piggery. When we've asked some of these people why they did it, they have said it is like insurance. You are not sure all the money I have put in fish will. What if the fish gets a certain problem? Let me also have something in poultry so that if this goes bad, then here I am able to. Okay? There have been those cases. So we are also not yet sure. Do we? And some people have made even much more profit. Somebody developed 2 enterprises simultaneously from the same 1 million shillings. So do we say, you guys, you are very bad, you should be caned or what? We don't know, but we think the policy, the cabinet and His Excellency the President will guide us on some of these cases. There have been these cases we are not sure about how to. We can only raise them because you meet them in the field or you've already met them. The other bit is on commercialization of agriculture. Because if you are talking about Chibaro, value addition becomes of paramount importance. If you have your milk and you are selling it as raw milk, vis-a-vis somebody who has turned it into yogurt, from the same quantity at the start, you may get different types of income. So on commercialization, and also PPM is working with the interventions by the state or by government and any other actor, a private actor. Some people from Soroti here, Soroti is one of my beloved cities, partly because of Sokabido. You know Sokabido? The development arm of the Catholic Church in Soroti. But we could speak for the same in Teso. We could speak for the same in Masaka and all other places. They have got their own agro-machinery, for instance. What we are interested in is people have produced. Where will these things go? Who can buy? And we are able to get better money out of these things rather than. So we've just picked one example. This is Abim and Otuke. Someone from Abim, my friend Cosmas, Abim, then Otuke. I am asking this so that you can say, no, you are right, these things are not there. That's why I'm doing that. Because for us, there are somebody who said that it doesn't matter the color of the cat, as long as it can catch the rat. So somebody who is a private sector, the NGOs, building and processing facility with extension workers, with medicines for people to come and buy for their crops and many other things, with storage facilities. And the producers and the PDM who have been supported, the millions we've talked about, are able to have somebody take their produce. Is that person part of PDM or is out? Is that person part of PDM or is out? We think that it is in because it is about parish development. This person is a private actor but has picked our product. We produced our milk, but there is Pearl Dairy in the case of Gore sub-region and can pick our milk. Is part of the actors in bringing development to our parish because the emphasis is parish development and household income. Similarly, government has also done some interventions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but so that we are able to add value. The coffee haulers, the milk coolers, anyone from Kumi, I see Tisai here. It's also one of the places I like. Tisai and Tajar. The other one was Tajar. Is there any milk cooling system that has been put with solar and with yes? Yes, it is in Tisai, up to yesterday, a no-go area. I went there in my earlier days on a canoe, and it was very, very interesting when you go back today. And so the producers there then are able to have an outlet where they can get money and something is adding value to their produce. A Chormongi market. Anyone from Katapi? Katapi? Yes, I come from Palam, so you are my friend. We shall talk at bull roasting. Chormongi market, was it built or it was not built? Is it there or it is not there? Is it there as Kwara of yesterday or it is now a modern? So the off-taker bid of anybody, or somebody who is taking our produce, is also helping us to earn an income, is also helping us to develop our parish. So those are some of the bits of the lists are even Katareke Mese, anyone from Nakaseke? Nakaseke, I saw Nakaseke on the list, I think. Is there Nakaseke? Butarangu, there is Waria Katareke Mese, I don't know Katareke Mese means what. I had thought I would have an answer from here. Sorry? It is the name of the market. But it is a big wonderful thing. So those are some of the things that we are talking. The other bit we are talking about that we've been able to do is to do like a mapping of existing agro-processing facilities in the country. You have NSAP, you have ACDP, you have a number of government projects. When they are completed, then they abandon the machinery. Phase 1, in phase 2, they forget what had been in some of the local governments. You as leaders, it is going to be incumbent upon you to be able to. Here we have just picked an example of KAIP, one of the government projects then, and the machinery in Tokolo and some of the other places, which have been abandoned. So we want to bring them into the realm of PDM by having the producer groups, the enterprise groups and traders to use these facilities so that we are able to add value. And we have done the mapping there that has been led by OWC as a success. We are growing the partnership. If you have somebody from, anyone from Kijezi, Soro, is there anything like Kachokano in Kijezi? My friend, is there anything like Kachokano in Kijezi on the way to the lake, on the way to Lake Bunyoni? As a research institute of government, but those good materials they produce every time, how do they get our farmers? Is a discussion we are trying to have, and we have already found a way on how we can work together to be able to, so that when somebody receives the parish revolving fund money, is able to buy good quality materials and use. Are the people behind with us or people behind? Are you with us or you are somewhere? Okay. The other bit we are using is the National Oilseed Project, where we are also organizing farmers into groups so that they are able to produce. And then we can do parking together as producers and households get income, and then the parishes move ahead. The other bit is, so it appears, if that is, from what we see, it appears that the PDM is making a contribution to the 23 strategic guidelines and also delivering the manifesto. Okay? The other bit we seem to see is that there is still a lot we need to do. For instance, you have NGOs in your area. How are they contributing to parish development model? Are they aware or they continue to do things on their own? As the office of the RDC, you need to have conversations with them so that they can be, so that their interventions can be synchronized, harmonized with what government is trying to do in certain parishes. We don't want to have the same water point. I saw a lot of that in Karamoja those days. The same borehole in the same parish, but the other parishes are starving of water. You see? So as an office, I think it is an opportunity you would use to be able to have conversations with them so that we are able to synchronize our interventions together. It is not to compare them. It is to say, where you want to do this, it is already happening. So take your intervention to the other area of need. That I don't think that would be by bad guidance. So there is still, even when we see a lot of this harmonization we are trying to do as PDM, there are still gaps in that area that you need to look at. So PDM, let me read verbatim the last one. PDM contribution is becoming more visible where you come from. True or false? The results are becoming more visible, not so. So we wrote and said that, for instance, in production, in household food security, people are getting more secure. In incomes, people are getting incomes. This is part of what NRM had promised the people of Uganda, not so. So if that is the case, maybe when time comes, so we keep Kumein. That's what somebody typed. So we keep Kumein. Because why do you want to change a winning team? Really, if things are happening on the ground. That is what we saw there. So the other bit as leaders, because it is not all gold, especially in the urban centers, encourage the youth to engage into a lot of agro-production, agro-processing along the way. Because some of them may not have direct land. PDM is you can borrow and come together as a group of 7 people, of 8, that's already 8 million, of 10, that's already 10 million, and you are able to have a maize meal. You are able to have a fruit meal, a dryer. You are able to, and then you are buying from the other farmers or PDM who are producing, and for your job within PDM is to do the value addition, and you get some income out of this. So as leaders, this is an area you need to be encouraging your people about. Somebody make a machine that can turn cow dung and poultry droppings into fertilizer for money. Those are areas that we think can be able to be talked about a lot more by you leaders, and then the youth are able to come aboard, because the youth are not yet doing well. On Pillar 2, which is infrastructure, these are the categories of roads across the country. Each docket has got its own component of the district, urban, and community access roads, not the national roads. So even UNRWA itself, and you know that as leaders, that UNRWA takes some of the roads in our district. True or false? Yes. So when you come to all this number, which is about 1,160 kilometers, some work has been done. I see here, for instance, Minakuru. Someone from Oyam? Anyone from Oyam? Is there this kind of worker? I see rehabilitation of Minakuru, Corner Cafe Road, 10.2 kilometers. Is it happening or not happening? Is it leading to parishes or it is not? So, why are we bringing this out? There was a group of people, including leaders, who thought that with the coming of PDM, new monies are coming. Oh, we are going to be swimming in too much more money. Whereas it is about utilizing, it is a strategy of utilizing the existing resources, but ensuring that things are happening, not just up there, but are coming down to the parish. In addition, the 1 billion shillings per district for purposes of the Duka. The Duka is district, urban, community access roads. Those roads that go up to the last mile road, the last kilometer. Do you have reports of what that money did, ladies and gentlemen? Very good. That's what you need to do, and the extent to which they have contributed, therefore, to Pillar 2 of PDM, but also contributing to the general economy of the country and the well-being, mobility and all this. Cable foot bridges, choke points. I see, for instance, some work that was done here on Chome Odek Bridge and road connecting parishes in Omoro. Anyone from Omoro? Omoro? There is no Omoro here. They are where? Oh, they are outside. They are part of the team that went outside. How about Awelu, Awimon Parish to Kampala? That is the Kampala of the other side. The landing site in, I think that's Kaveramaido. That's Kaveramaido, not so. Anyone from Kaveramaido? Is this true or it is not true? Yes. Because we don't want to say these are things made in Kampala. These things are coming from the ground, from you. So many of these are contributing to infrastructural development and delivery of PDM. When you're explaining to people, say yes, the intention is to get money, but there is also the aspect of the quality of life. And good roads are part of what contributes to quality of life. Imagine if you have a sick person that has to go through such a road that has been graded, vis-a-vis the one we made somewhere. I would have said KYANKWANZI, but I am just so you will know. You'll find that the quality of life for the two is really different. The challenge, even so, we acknowledge that there are a lot of rains at a certain time, which was not a creation of government. El Nino. Explain to the people so that they can know why their roads are in a bad state, even when we are doing massive investment. Because the pace of rain at times becomes a challenge, and you even stop working. The contractor can't continue working because the rains are a lot. You work today, the work is washed away, so you wait. So explain to the people so that they are able to know why some of those roads are in that kind of state. And also, of course, the limited funding aspect. The other bit is some of the local governments, so far where we've reached, for purposes of delivering PDM, have been able to receive new road equipment. Is there yes, is there Bugueri here? Bugueri, anybody from Bugueri? My friend Tampa is where? Kalaki? Did you get road new equipment? No, new road equipment, not road equipment. New road equipment. Rwampara, I think, is outside. Kaperebyong, Akorikini team, did you get new road equipment? Obongi? Anyone from Obongi, or it is the other side? Napiratuk, did you get new road equipment? Very good. So that's what we are talking about. So at least there is, we are seeing reduced borrowing of equipment from our mother districts yesterday. Even though now what we have is already still expensive to maintain. And the government is trying to do something about that. The Mbararaguru Jinja centers will soon be decentralized so that people are able to have repairs done quicker. Please explain to the people so that they can know why some of these things are happening and what is happening. The aspect of energy. These machines I'm talking about cannot run without power. Uganda has produced some sufficient power now, thanks to the NRM government. But that power needs to be used. So, in some of the cases, now for purposes of PDM, we have gone to a level where we are saying that power, we want to see a transformer. You know transformers? We want to see an electric transformer in every parish in Uganda. We don't want to keep hearing good stories. Karuma is 600 megawatts and Ayago. We want to see a transformer in our parish. That is what government, for purposes of PDM, really if you want to thank His Excellency, you can clap. If you don't want, you leave. So already we're also building into the next manifesto. What are the things that so we want to see that happen. I'll just speak to that side alone because of the limited time. I can't speak to all of them. But we have picked just one example. Anyone from Kwanya? Kwanya district local government? Kwanya, that's where there is Akite. Is that Akite? Our focal person. Kwanya is out. The parishes are not exhausted because the list is longer. We just picked a few of them for you to be able to see, at least including the person behind. Otherwise, they would have been too squeezed. But you find that in the mapping for transformers in every parish in this country called Uganda, the work already started. Okay? Spearheaded by Minister of Energy, but working with all the other institutions, PDM Secretariat, Minister of IT, Minister of Works, and all other government institutions, so that people are able to access power, so that health centers in those parishes and the sub-counties are able to access power, so that new local governments that have been created, new units and where their headquarters will be, in what in the case of Guru, are able to have electricity and reliable electricity. That work already started, so that we are able to do processing of the so much produce that we are beginning to do under PDM, and much more that is going to increase. Therefore, it seems we are contributing to the strategic guidelines as we are given by His Excellency in 2016 and 2021 to Cabinet. We are getting there. Kabong, we've just picked an example of Kabong. Poor connectivity in some of the cases. Anyone from Kabong? Kabong? Yes, Kabong. Kabong, we have not forgotten you. Tell your people that government has not forgotten them. We could have had all the other examples, but we had to, for purposes of this. Kabong, those parishes, these are sub-counties. The parishes, we've been having challenges with those sub-counties, parishes in those sub-counties. You want to do better collection, and we are going digital. But then you find there is poor internet connectivity. What is already being done, being planned for, so that we are able to connect. We are going to connect 135 points in Uganda that have been having poor internet connectivity, so that we are able to move. Also remembering that government has invested in the broader internet connectivity across the country. You as a leader, please explain that to the people, so that they know that government is not just asleep when they are complaining about poor connectivity, which they are facing so far. Want to move faster? Financial inclusion, where many people thought that is the PDM. That it is yes, it is about money, but there are ways to getting that money. The shorter one is to go and steal, and with the consequences that it goes. That one is not an NRM strategy. The other one is get money, go work, and then earn your own money. Pay back, and then you are a good citizen, let others also use. These are things you already know. 500 billion for this financial year already went to the circles across 10,500, about 90. There are some 3-4 circles where we still have problems. And that's where the KCCA lady was coming from asking, which are also tackled at this point. We, under PDM, we are dealing with what we call designated. That is so much English. How do I reduce it? Coded local parishes or wards. I'll give you a scenario that there are cases. Anyone from Busia here? I thought I would use Busia as an example. Now I am shy. But now I am shy, is around. Okay, let me not be shy. Busia, the ladies and gentlemen there, in their wisdom, which is welcome because the local government act gives them that mandate, they say, ask the people in Busia, at this council dated this, have resolved that this shall be a new administrative unit. Thank you very much, and we clap for you as our leaders. Nonetheless, at the Ministry of Local Government, that has not been put into in heaven they say the book of hope, the book of something. Now, at Ministry of Local Government, that record is not there. Subsequently, at Ministry of Finance, that record is not there of that resolution. Therefore, you'll find that there are a number of more local governments, more parishes in the country that we are dealing with, that there are out there than those. No, there are more parishes out there, okay, So on our side, we are working with a slightly lesser number because of some of those challenges. And also remembering that the NRM at some point said no creation of new administrative units. You remember? As leaders, yes, those who still went ahead did so, and so they have their parishes. But when it comes to the parish revolving fund, we are working with the 10,594 parishes. Okay? And those that get issues around there is what we iron out. Those that we are not receiving their money in Bararasite, Vunusia, and Ruenjol, for instance, when we cleared their issues, they got all their money. In Kwamia, in Kaperepiong, and other places in Kakumiro, they all got their money. So, Madam, that's part of why there is still that outstanding issue of the parishes that are not part of the of receiving the famous 100 million in our equation. That's where patronage is coming from. Overall, so far we've delivered over it's now about 2.6, 2.5 trillion shillings across the country. Is that a good thing or it is not? Yes, so inform Ugandans so that they can know that the promises were delivered. The target of 3.5, we have reached over 2 million people receiving the parish revolving fund. Where you've come from, the 50 million shillings, in the case of Mitoma, for instance, has been given out 100%. Anyone from Mitoma district local government, even the 50 million which came is already gone. So for them, there are at least 250 people that have received the parish revolving fund in their area, per parish. And that Mbale City, I think, Mbale District Local Government, same. So as leaders, when you go back, please challenge your people. How are we doing? Where are the lists? Can we have a look at them? Because when you don't, then it means you are bringing a whole stifling of the ecosystem that should be happening across the country. These are just figures. I'm not going to read them for your own information. But we also chose to use up to December 2024 because the 50 million that has just gone out, some of the local governments are still staggering. They have not used it because of poor preparation. So I quickly want to come to that, which brings me then to what is the role of the office of the... You want me to do this? You want to take a picture? You have these notes. You are going to have these notes. You are going to have these notes, and I also need to finish. I also need to move. Yes. This is a summary by sub-regions, okay? Before the 50 million which has come. Because some have not spent, so we didn't want to, okay? But in some of your local governments, they have already gone beyond this. These are billions of money. Please explain to your people, even by district. We have these monies available, but of course I couldn't put all these things here. Any district at any one time, please call us if you need our help. If you are a focal person and the district is not giving you that information, we give it to you so that you can see in my particular parish, in my particular district, how are you performing, and let the people know so that they know this is real stuff, it is not kwara. RDCs and other leaders in the disbursement of those billions of money, now trillions. And here, maybe to say that by the end of this Sanja, we shall be, if this was a bank, would be the third biggest bank in the country. I was telling someone at our own one-on-one discussion. So those who are crying cooperative bank, I don't know what bank, the bank is already come. His Excellency President Museveni has already brought the bank. So which bank? It is even more sophisticated because it is digital. People are using tap, not looking for, please sign for me here, and we are carrying a book. Tap, That's why we need internet connectivity improved on the other side. After Stanbic and the Centenary Bank, we shall be the biggest bank in the country. All these others, look at Emioga, I think, has been here or it will be here. How much money they have been using since they started? Did they tell you the money? They were here. Did they tell you how much money they have? How much? The total? About 1.3 trillion shillings. Here, just at halfway, we are already 2.5 trillion. So, I think good work is happening. Those of you who have blamed the WND, all your leaders, your focal persons have made you believe that you see the devil is in WND. WND is an electronic system, a platform just like you see mobile money, like you see Airtel money. And it has no single evil. It was baptized, everybody was seeing. It has no problem, it has no sins. Rather, the sins are around some of these areas. That there seems to be issues around supervision of those that are supposed to deliver certain things. A government official, a CDO, a district production officer, is supposed to go to the community, organize, mobilize, train the people. What does it mean to do piggery? Or rather, those who want to do piggery, please come here. Those who want to do dairy, please come here. Those who want to do fish farming, please come here. Do you have fisheries officers in your district? However inadequate, and however incapacitated, no vehicles, but they are there. So they are supposed to get people and take them through the drills of what it means to do fish farming. Then somebody says, I think fish farming is not mine. This 1 million is too small, it is not going to be enough. Because if a cow is already going to be bought at 1 million shillings, and it is what I have gotten as parish revolving fund, I think I should do this enterprise. Okay? So when people don't do that, it means that the would-be beneficiaries are not ready. That is one. The other one bit is the loan application, the loan application process. When the circle leaders have not been able to take people through to go to the field and check what people have or don't have, then they come and say the forms are very complicated. Okay? It's what they tell you. The other aspect is, which is very, very fundamental, the president has been very categorical about it, that for people that have been initially selected, there shall be a community meeting, a parish community meeting chaired by the head of PDC, Parish Development Committee, who is RC2 chairperson, but with a representative of the office of the RDC in physical attendance. Not kuba yes munogamba, so how is it going there? And you keep quiet, the RDC is addressing us on phone. Physical attendance. Physical means physical, not so. It doesn't mean even if you're Mutura Congo, you still have to find a way of getting there physically. And office of OWC, physically present. So people, the people who have been chosen so far to be the beneficiaries, the names are read out. Peter Mukajanga, may not be around for a certain reason, is sick or something. Do you know that person in this parish? Then the people will say, yes, we know that person in this parish. Sebatuka. Mchara Sebatuka. Yes, she is here present. Do you know this lady? Yes, we know her, but she does not belong to this parish. It is the son who belongs to this parish, but not herself. So there we put a mark. Until we have the 100 people. Okay? That's why the Mitomas of this world and Bari district have been able to move. Before the money came, they already had their list of the 100 people for the whole year. And so when the first money comes, the 50 million, because people had, there are different methods people have used, but you can pick papers. 1 to 100 we write, you pick. If you are number 1, you will come number 1. If you are number 70, you will come in the second lot of the other second 50 million. So why are you letting people down by not doing that? Because then they think they are depending on the muscle of the circle leader. Then the circle leadership, unless you give me some 50,000, No, it cannot put you on the paper, you see. Speak a lot of English and a lot of Rumasava. So please, as leaders, it can be GISO in your to be at the meeting, you may not be everywhere. It can be somebody from the who is under the instruction of the office of the RDC must be physically present to monitor how things are happening and provide any guidance that is required. The people that have been finally passed, that list is taken. If they are not yet in the system, because we are using a digital system now, we no longer want to go paper. The parish chief makes sure that the details of the people that have been chosen are correctly entered into the system. Now they have tablets. When that has been done, you just wait for time when money comes. And the government now has said in January, February we shall send money because around March is time for planting. In September we shall send another 50 million because it's time for planting. So do we still have to be guessing and bribing circle leaders so that and parish chiefs? The other bit is on the role of your office. Please encourage people on radios to be whistleblowers. Let somebody come and volunteer some information. Here we are being cheated. There is where we did it in Tungamo. Anyone who comes from Tungamo here? Rukarango Sako. We said, oh, they have asked you for money, no problem. You take it. As they are going, we are also following. They are going, we are following. After receiving it, we say, first, please come and talk to police. What is happening? The rest is this way. The monies we are recovered 100% and taken back to the circle. So you encourage whistleblowers to, even when they bring you wrong information, you'll go and verify with your office and you find it was the one. That's okay. It is better than when some of these criminals continue to do their work and you are just keeping quiet. Okay? The other bit is challenge the parish chiefs or the town agents to document, tell you, in your parish now we have 250 beneficiaries. Bring me 10 people that have succeeded. Then when you go to radio, you are talking with confidence. You are talking with real examples. That's why I'm able to use Rukarango as an example. So that it can be felt that you are a real people's leader who is doing, I need to run. The other bit is communicate these successes through the media and all these platforms that you have, so that people can know what is happening, what government is doing or has done. In the other pillar, pillar 4, I'll just quickly run. Government, for instance, we picked only one example. Government commitment is to deliver at least one government-aided primary school per parish in this country called Uganda. Okay? So we just picked one sample of the people that are represented here. This is in Nkore sub-region. In Nkore sub-region, for instance, when you look at the number of parishes that do not have a government-aided primary school, we took an example of, let me take an example of my friend here, Nkore, Kazo. Number of parishes are 51, is it correct? 51. Number of those parishes that don't have primary school are 11. Okay? You have that data as the office of the RCC, so that you can able explain to the people. Very simple things to do. I like Ruampara. Ruampara, I don't know if they are back. Everybody is covered in their parishes. They are not complaining. So government, meaning government has delivered 100% in that particular case. Okay? And the number of areas which we are going to, we haven't compiled all the data. But this is, so how is it doing for your own district that you are responsible for? Sorry? Oh, Mr. Ruampara is here. Sorry? You left where? You left Ruampara and went where? Are you still within this area? Ah, okay. Yeah. But in Ruampara, do you remember if this was the case? Yes. Is this Ruampara is here? They have 29 parishes, and every parish has got a primary school. Yes. So at least if you can't admire this one, then really you are not part of NRM, as we would say in Kadiro. So it seems we are contributing to both the strategic guidelines as instructed, but also the manifesto. In terms of gender and numbers, here, it needs to be much faster because time is not on our side. Yes, the youth. What we see here is that the youth, there are more youth participating in PDM activities in Busoga. But across the country, they are not. But also we see that more women are participating. 3% are getting more, you know. So encourage the youth to be able to participate in many of these things. That is by category. I need to finish that. I need to get out. So the elderly, here just one thing. Here just one thing. That every local government now has got tablets. So no excuses on data collection. And this was an example in the case of KCCA when we were handing over. When the operations are expanding across the country, and more is coming. I think this is my second last. We still need to strengthen the structures, the PDCs. They need a lot of training, and the office of the district commercial office. We still need to do a lot of work. So thank you very much. If you think you have had a bad day by listening to me, look at some of these guys. They have just offloaded 6,000 bricks at the wrong place, at the wrong site. So I hope I wasn't as bad as those fellows are, and thank you very much. So let him.
Thank you very much, participants. Thank you for listening. It has been a very long session, and we want to thank Mr. Kapwepe Kambarage Julius for the good work. I'm going to task him, after writing down his contacts, to pay some attention. All this hip-hop paper is yours, sir. You are going to answer this question with particular focus on the uncoded parishes. Those who are not coded, the new parishes that have been carved out of others, and they are disenfranchised. So you need to pay a lot of attention to that. So thank you, and here is you can continue offloading the bricks.
Yeah, let me be very quick because we've spent some time. There is somebody who says that for them in some of their parishes, they have chased away all the 39% subsisting people. Everyone has received the money and is doing something. Okay? So what should happen in such a case? In such a case, some people had a certain number of subsistence households. They all received their money and are doing something. So what should they continue getting the new money, the 60 million and the other new monies that are coming? That is going to be a decision of cabinet headed by the president. Some of us have suggested initially that they could continue receiving their money and they choose stay on which agro-processing facility for value addition they could put that money in their parish. That is one. The second one is that no, this for you, everyone is out of the 39. Please let the other Ugandans also be using. So we stop sending to you, it goes to other parts of the country. That's a decision that will be made by cabinet. The other bit I want to implore you about is, please also asking questions is good, but also make to us suggestions. Where would you see changes in implementation of PDM? Because we are at a time where we are seeking some ideas and we shall take them together to the cabinet and they are able to make some new adjustments as may be required. So send those papers in also. Why are parish chiefs always penalized yet they are not part of the signatories to the circle? Yes. So what are you doing there in the circles if you are not? Therefore they penalize you. Many of them have given an example of Dungamo. We are trying to be mischievous. So rather than sit back, we have reminded them that they should keep in their lane. If you call it penalizing. The parishes of Muyenga and this is Kampala, Namuongo, that have never received money. I gave a bit of the explanation. Kampala will need a special session seat, and work already started. We have communication happening. We shall be able to come and resolve some of those issues. Facilitation for monitoring PDM, to monitor PDM beneficiaries. His Excellency the President has said, please use the existing facilitation that you have to be able to do his work, reach his people and preach the gospel. Until he is able to have better money in the coffers. And as you know, he delivers. He delivered for the parish chiefs, for the PDCs, and for the others, he's still continuing as money gets paid. In my view, someone be given 1 million and she invests in rearing within the within 6 months to 1 year, he or she would have got back the money. I don't understand this. There is no need for divorce. Yeah. But also there are those who had wanted to pay all enough. They made their money and they said, we want to pay. The president guided that, no, please stay with the money, be doing capitalization and expand your business until after 2 years, then you can begin paying. And now we are at the level where we are working on the guidelines for payback. So until we have, otherwise you use it for 2 years and then you pay back. There is a